I watched the 1992 horror film Candyman. You ever seen it?
I have.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It is a good one.
Did you see the remake? I haven't seen the remake. It came out like a year or so ago.
No. No,
That's
I've just seen the original.
No spoilers. Sexy serial killer.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Freddy's pretty dang sexy.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
There's nothing sexy about Freddy. You're an idiot. Hey, welcome back to our Stupid Rex of Corbin.
Calls me an idiot. He doesn't know who Freddy is.
I just watched that for the
He
first
wears the mask.
I watched both of those for the first time.
He's not sexy. He wears a mask.
Also, there's nothing sexy about Freddy. What are you talking? I'm talking about the physical attractiveness of a serial killer.
Yep. Freddy Krueger's sexy.
You are a dumbass. Today, welcome back.
Hey, what other horror monster, character, hero, villain, whatever you want to call them, has gotten Johnny Depp in bed? Need I say more? Need I say more?
Amber Heard. Today.
You think she's sexier than Freddy Krueger? You bastard.
I was just calling her a monster. Today, we got a watch along for you, and it's, I guess, of a movie, technically. It's the... We've heard about it for a long time. The behind the scenes of Madness in the Desert, I believe it's what it's called.
Exactly.
Behind the scenes of LAGAAN.
When I told Indrani that's what we were watching, she said, "Oh my goodness, yay, you're gonna love it."
Yeah, she's. It seems like most people have seen it.
I think we probably should have watched LAGAAN first, but I made a funny elbow.
I should watch it again because I haven't seen it in a long time. It's
been a long time.
Really good movie.
Yeah, but very memorable.
But it seems like most people have actually seen Madness in the Desert, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Documentaries aren't like, I mean, not that they're not popular, but like the masses haven't seen every single documentary.
Right.
It seems like everybody's seen this documentary.
Yeah, documentaries tend to be not something everybody sees.
So, and it's a full 2-hour documentary.
Speaking of documentaries, if you haven't seen My Octopus Teacher,
that's a great one. It's a full 2-hour documentary, so it goes full in depth of every single aspect of the film, which is great. Of the filmmaking.
It's going to be boring because we don't like watching anything that has to do with cinema or
I don't like doing that.
The art form.
And also, a lot of people call this like the best documentary ever in India as well. A lot of people call it that. So I'm excited. I've been wanting to watch this for a while. When we did the audition little snippet that we reacted to a few weeks ago, everybody was like, "Yeah, I'll watch it. It'll be great. I would love to watch it with them." I'm like, "Okay, let's do it."
Thanks for wanting to watch it with us. It amazes me. Makes me happy that you guys want to hang with us.
But it's obviously, if you're seeing this on YouTube, obviously we're probably gonna do this about maybe 2 parts of the documentary. So, if you want to see the full uncut reaction, you can head over to Patreon. I'll put a link.
How is it? What's now? It's 1 crore, right? To get onto Patreon.
Lakh.
It's a lakh. Okay.
Which one's bigger?
Easy. Your mom.
It's a lakh crore.
Your mom is way bigger.
The lowest tier is 1 lakh crore.
Yeah.
Is that a number? If you like to see the full uncut version, you get over to Patreon. The link description below. Let's just get into this. Here we go.
Before this begins, we just want to say thank you to Amitabh Bachchan.
Didn't he narrate it?
Did he?
No.
I think he did. I was just saying that to be silly because so many films say thank you to Amitabh Bachchan.
I don't remember. It was like 4 years ago when we saw this film.
I saw a reel with Big B being asked many years ago about when he agrees to do things, what's the determining factor? Is it script? Is it people? And he said, "Oh, boy, do I wish it was script." Because more often than not, at least back then, and I think it's probably still the same as well, where there's just, you get asked if you want to work on something and it's about relationships. It's not about necessarily script. Then you agree and you read the script and you think, I don't know that I should have agreed to this.
I saw one of Emily Blunt.
Was she blunt?
Sorry, I forgot to turn the music on. She was talking about how she was contractually obligated to do Gulliver's Travels, and she did not want to do it at all. But it was part of the contract of Devil Wears Prada.
Okay.
And
she did like a 3-film deal or something.
Yeah. And she was like, I didn't want to do it at all. Nobody knew it there, but I was,
It's tough. It's so tough when you're an actor and if a studio offers you a couple picture deal and you don't have any work without seeing scripts. It's hard to say no to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard to say no to that.
Here we go.
Certain do's and don'ts set by the Hindi film industry, based on how other films have done in the past. You should not make a period film.
सन 1893
Yeah, it was.
चंपानेर
You should not take a hero and try and change his image by changing his hairstyle and putting him in a dhoti. You should never make a film which has a dialect as the main language of the film.
चूल्हे से रोटी निकाले के लिए चिमटे को अपना मुंह जलाए पड़ी.
Please don't make sports films.
Really?
And especially about cricket. These are all the set rules which unintentionally my script was breaking. So all these points itself went against the script in my initial stage when I wanted to meet people and try and sell them this idea. I was the only one probably who was kicked and charged that this is an interesting blend.
Aamir Khan was in this? I don't remember that.
I'm Satya.
Hi,
I
Satya.
used to be a lawyer.
Hi, you used to be a lawyer.
Legal books, briefs, and battles. That was my world. Loved listening to litigants. Really get to see the seamy side of life. Broken marriages, warring families, violence. Keeps you down to earth. Then, one day, fantasy intruded. Aamir called. Said he's producing a film. Needs people whom he trusts. Would I be interested? Aamir is a childhood friend. But I had nothing to do with films. Not his, not anyone else's. Why on earth would I work on a film? Especially when I was doing well as a lawyer.
Because it's Aamir Khan. I'd be a lawyer for Aamir Khan.
Impractical, irresponsible, insane. A lot like falling in love. So you can imagine what I did.
Dove
I
head
quit law
first.
to join
Yeah.
the production team. of LAGAAN.
And fell in love with Aamir Khan.
This is the story of what I saw and experienced. A story that starts not with me, but with the writer-director, Ashutosh Gowarikar.
My first film was Pehla Nasha, which is a mystery, and my second was Bazi, which is an action thriller.
Oh,
I made them keeping in mind the elements required to make a safe film. Both the films, I expected them to be hit films.
what is that?
Much to my surprise, they did not work as I
Nice.
expected them to.
I'm very chubbed.
So that gave me a setback because I was not in a position to make any other film after the debacle of the two films. And I realized that now, if I have to do something, it is something that I believe in. So I would rather write something that I want to make and then hope that the audience also likes it, because there was no other way of doing it. सन 1893 चंपानेर देश के बीचों बीच बसा एक छोटा सा गांव. And I wanted to make a fairy tale. I wanted to make a what if film गांव की सीमा से लगकर
It was a true story, though.
हुकूमत की छावनी थी. Why not use cricket as a means of war which the farmers wage against the British? Because then it will be a battle without bloodshed. It will be instead of spears and arrows, it would be a bat and a ball, and instead of a battlefield, it will be a cricket field.
To begin with, I heard the story idea, which I hated, quite frankly. It made no sense to me. I mean, I was like, what are you talking about? 100 years back, the cricket match, to cancel the tax.
Yeah, that would sound boring at
It
face
was a very
value.
outlandish
Really would.
concept.
It's like,
And a very
what?
implausible one.
Yeah, it's like, what?
He told me that please don't even go and narrate it to anyone else. Make something safe, make something simpler, nicer.
So he just heard me out quietly, and I could see that he was disappointed,
But somehow him saying no made me rebellious. I just went back and I wrote the
Even
dialogue
more.
version of the film. I wrote it at my house. I mean, there was no other place that I could actually go and sit and write. So writing at home meant me spending a lot of time through the day, at home, at a desk. That was a very unwelcome sight for my family. Because they used to wonder, okay, what was I?
Why are you home? Get
Especially
out of
the
here.
Kids. I mean, they would compare it to the parents of other kids in school, who go to office. I mean, why does our father sit at home the whole day, working at something is writing away?
then suddenly out of the blue he came and said, "Hi, I was out for some time and I've been working on a script, and I need 4 or 5 hours of your time."
And he immediately got suspicious. He said, "Is it the same
Mm.
script about cricket and British everything?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I don't want to hear anything of it."
You've wasted 4 months of your time, but I have no intentions of wasting even 4 hours of my time.
I can read it like you must hear it at least once. Say no if you have to, but you have to hear it now. सन 1893
Good for him for persisting.
देश के बीचों बीच बसा एक छोटा सा गांव.
I heard the script and I was blown. From the moment that it started, I was suddenly swept away, And suddenly that bet, which seemed implausible to me earlier in a concept level, made complete sense to me. So I said, Ash, this is one hell of a script. But it's... And he said, but what? I said, but it's a very scary film to make.
Heck yeah.
For mainstream Indian cinema, it's a very unusual film to make. So I said, Ash, you've written a wonderful script, but to be really honest with you, I don't have the guts to say yes to you as an actor.
Amir Khan not having the gut.
Appreciate the honesty.
But neither does anyone else.
If you have Amir,
For
doesn't.
over a
He
year,
does.
Ashutosh does narration after narration to top producers and stars.
Wow. Good for him.
Finds many admirers,
But
none
nobody has the
put his
guts
money
to
where
do
his
it.
mouth is.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Aamir, who has been living with the LAGAAN script in his mind,
Can't
is
escape it.
increasingly tempted
Yeah.
to do the film.
Yeah.
Jammu Sugandh had been after me to produce a film, which he wanted to finance. And I was like, no, I definitely don't want to get into production. That's one thing I'm sure I don't want to get into. Because my father has been a producer and I've seen what he's been through, and that's something I don't want to get into. I belong to a film family. My father has been
Nepotism!
And my
Can't
uncle
watch
has
this now.
been one of the top directors of Indian cinema. Since I was a kid, I was part of that atmosphere of filmmaking. I think I was around the age of 15 or so when I decided that films is where I want to be. So the first thing I did is I started working as an assistant director with my uncle, and I worked for 4 years with him. Thereafter, I did my first film as a lead.
We know that.
called Qiyaamat Se Qiyaamat.
Still need to see that movie.
Released in 88.
Da, 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 da,
I've been
da.
acting for about 10 years when Ashu approached me with the script. I knew that LAGAAN was a very unusual film. I knew it was a very expensive film, very difficult film, very demanding film to make. And it needed a producer who had complete faith in the script, complete faith in the director, and would be willing to back the creative team to the full. Slowly this idea started forming.
So who had the guts to do that?
This film, then I have to produce it.
Him.
So I said, Ash, I'd like to hear the script again, now for the third time.
सन 1893, चंपानेर.
And this time I'd like you to narrate it not only to me, but to my wife, to a friend of mine, Jammu Suga, who is a financier of films. And I'd like you to narrate to my parents.
हाँ, राम सिंह सिखाया. ये कौन है?
I was watching Jammu and my parents and Reena throughout the narration. And I could see that they were really swept away by the narration. And they said, you must do it. And so I said, okay. Then I said to Ash, Ash, I think my answer to you is yes. I shall act in the film. But not only will I act in it, I would like to produce it as well.
And that was, for me, one of the most happiest moments of my life.
I bet. Imagine if he had been discouraged and gave up.
And then began the journey of transposing my script to screen.
Perhaps the one guideline that I gave Ashutosh, don't compromise. Don't tell me later on that I wish I had done it this way, or I wish I could have got this. Whatever you want, you're gonna get.
The first person to join my creative team was Nitin Desai, my production designer. Nitin and I roamed the subcontinent, searching for the right location.
This is how making should be done.
And in my mind, I had
Goes over every element of
use
it.
this film. What is my production team?
From concept and
who's gonna handle
pitch
the production
to
of this film.
the very
With
end.
that
This
in
is
mind,
great.
I spoke to Reena.
Aamir was really busy with other work. You know, he was acting in other films.
recognize
and
her.
He was doing all kinds of things. Didn't have an office. I told Aamir that if you want to seriously produce a film, then you need to get organized about it, and you can't do it in this haphazard manner where you don't have any setup or anything. I just said it as a wife says it to a husband, to get organized in life and all that.
We were just lying in bed one night and I asked her, that, would you like to join the production? And I need somebody who I can trust. And she said, well, I don't know anything about filmmaking.
I'm from a normal, regular business, working class family.
Works just great to help the producer.
Nowhere near connected to films before I got married.
At that point of time, in my
Pretty
mind,
common
I felt
that the wives, like
even
Shah
if
Rukh
she
Khan's wife.
doesn't really get the hang of filmmaking,
As
or
well.
if she's not really too much into it,
She'll know the business side.
at least she'll be somebody who can report to me honestly about what's happening and
Yeah.
oversee everything.
Yeah.
And that's how I started. It was like in the night I spoke to Aamir and the next day I was put in the office and told to, okay, now do something.
Do something.
I needed a terrain which would look like agricultural land, but a place where it had not rained for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Now that is a very difficult combination to get.
Yeah.
And then you have to hope
Though
it stays
we did not
that way.
find the village of our choice, it really proved to be a journey of discovery for us.
She's adorable.
Through these journeys, we absorbed all kinds of details of day-to-day life in rural India. An India which is yet living in the past.
The film may be period, but the planning is modern. LAGAAN will be shot in a highly planned single schedule of 4 months instead of multiple schedules spread over a few years. Sync sound shall replace dubbing. And the central focus is on carefully building a team
I just came.
that shares Ashutosh's dream.
To begin with, only people who were passionate about the script were in the film.
गांव में है फिर कैरेक्टर भी बड़े निराले हैं बिल्कुल अलग हैं इस तरह के कैरेक्टर
He's related to the Farhans of the world, right?
One schedule, an entire cast and crew together on one location that you travel to. I mean, the project description to me also made a lot of sense because we don't make films this way.
Usually in the Hindi film industry, the production department is given the least priority
We get to see the script only when we submit to the censor. Here, Aamir Khan gives us a script 9 months ahead of the shooting days and says we have to plan the schedule, plan production.
You think that would just
Team
be
is rapidly
knowledge,
falling
right?
into place. India's only Oscar winner Bhanu Athaiya will dress the cast. The Canadians Nicole Demers will design makeup, and Peena Rizzi will design hair. Ashutosh's collaborators on the screenplay are Kumar Dave and Sanjay Daima, while KP Saxena will write the Avadhi dialogues. Nakul Kamte will handle the challenge of Sing Sound. Abbas Ali Mughal will
Talk about
choreograph
it.
the action. Daniel Roth will be the British casting director. Pallu Saluja will edit the film, and Hollywood-trained Apurva Lakhia will be the first assistant director.
First AD.
The big question now is about the superstar. Will he join?
Aamir?
Ashu and I both wanted Rahman, but in the past, my interaction with Rahman had been very
Oh,
limited.
AR.
And to be perfectly honest, not very comfortable. At that time, I thought that he had an attitude.
Couldn't be our ghost. Non-bar.
Which later I discovered is not an attitude.
Confidence.
It's more because he's shy and introverted.
Only Biddu and Cellos?
Ashutosh went to Madras and narrated the script to him.
I thought it was a very challenging project, and to do folk
So
and
young.
some classical and to do music which was like 1892-ish.
I was really happy to hear that he's loved the script and all that. But I said to him, there's one more hurdle you have to cross. So I met him and I said, essentially what I'm here to say is that unless you're sure that you have the time to take on our film, you should not. I think Rahman wasn't used to people asking him so many questions. So anyway, I was pushing my luck, but I was, still had to make myself clear.
A miracle has occurred. After months of roaming the Indian subcontinent, Ashutosh has finally found his champaner in a place called Kutch.
Kutch.
I was shocked. I had no word to say to the director. इतना एक remote village में, even Bombay में मालूम नहीं कि कच्छ जैसे कोई village है, कोई town है, कोई district है.
Bhuj was really a way out place for us. I mean, nobody knew where the hell it was. It was like a desert, and there was no hotels, and there was no. The transportation was
Works.
also weird, and
Sounds perfect.
if we go into summer, it is 47 degrees,
Oh!
and
That's a little hot.
people will just collapse.
Yeah.
Auditions.
Yeah, show that one guy. Whatever that actor's name that you love.
The one I love.
Pre-production is now in full swing, and we are in the midst of frenzied activity.
In India, having screen tests is very unusual and looked down upon, and actors feel insulted if they're asked to test for.
Yeah, we know. We've heard that before.
This is the part we saw.
Yeah.
Testing is a very important process, and it's a process which really clears your mind as a director.
Of course. Essential.
When an actor tests in front of the camera, you come to know whether he is, close to the character you want or not.
मेरा नसीब बताया है
कब बोल रहा है
मैं नहीं बता
That's right, it is. That's right. That's what she said.
She's she's lip syncing.
See if she can do it.
Yep.
And of course, she would pick the Sound of Music.
You know, one of the difficult aspects of the casting was the British casting.
I bet.
Because they're white.
No, this is our first film.
Why do you think you're here?
Is the film in English? No, the film is in Hindi. You want British actors for an Indian film.
Activate your white actor response?
Yeah, I guess.
For an Indian audience and not for an international audience. So, I mean, what? But the moment they read the script, you know, they used to certainly look at us from a different point of view.
That's quite funny to do.
I don't know how to read those numbers.
That was a tough one because we knew that LAGAAN is going to be an expensive film to make, and but we still wanted to make it. We also knew that it was a very unusual film to make for mainstream Indian cinema, and we still wanted to sell it and release it as a mainstream film.
And this particular film could have gone completely haywire. It was too vast and the canvas was just too big.
So one, how do you budget the film? How much can you spend? We don't know how much we can spend because we don't know how much we can sell it for.
Like Aamir said to me, it's like a wild horse, you know. If we don't hold the reins, it will go. And once it goes, then you cannot hold it.
It's going to be so difficult to control. You have no idea. It's going to be one hell of a job for us to control this horse. And we are going to meet a crisis on every step. And it's only if we can solve each and every crisis that we encounter.
That's what producers are for.
That we are going to succeed in making this film.
It's a boat that sets out to sea. You cannot predict what the seas are going to be like until you get out there.
Yeah.
Production set up base in Kutch, and I am part of the team stationed there. Soon, a 400-strong unit will descend on Bhuj, and mammoth arrangements must be made for the shoot. Kutch is hot, dusty, and barren, but the location has an austere beauty.
Production design is one of my favorite aspects.
Ashutosh and Nitin are at war arguing over the layout of Champaner. They are haggling over whose house should be located in what part of the village, how large the village square should be. Every tiny detail that will go towards making Champaner come alive.
I love that. It matters. It matters to him whose house is where.
Looking for accommodation.
It's part of the
I
storytelling.
realized that there's only 3 hotels in Bhuj.
Yeah, how do you...
कोई भी होटल है जहाँ से 12 रूम है 20 रूम है. We wanted accommodation for 300 people.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I mean, if you really squeeze them,
Build your own
they
hotel.
want to share and stay. And to
give it to
share
the
and stay
community.
in a small hotel room for 5 months was not happening. We were pretty sure that if we did that, everybody would just run away after 2 months back to Bombay and say, pack up.
An audacious answer has been found to the hotel problem. A building called Sehjanan Towers has been rented, and I've been given all of a month to fit ACs.
Yeah, that's
geysers,
basically what they did. They made
furniture.
their own hotel.
In other words, to turn it into a hotel. The biggest in Kutch.
That's awesome.
I'm going mad. And I had thought that LAGAAN would teach me about filmmaking.
Nope, it would just teach you about how to make LAGAAN.
Building an entire village, man. That's
A
insane.
film shot in Kutch must belong to the Kutchis. Production is
That's
implementing
great.
its motto with missionary zeal.
That's beautiful.
The set is being built by nearby villagers, not by film workers from Mumbai.
Everything about this so far is just pure, perfect, elevative artistry, man. I love
And
everything
another-
so far.
A contractor from the tiny village of Kotai has been persuaded to join the team.
And Danabai and I we met in my house and we had lunch together, and I spoke to him at length about what we were attempting to do and how he can help us in achieving that.
I love it that the villagers built it.
Oh,
That's wonderful.
You see, the way the villagers were building their houses were the way that they actually built their houses without using any modern ways of building houses, and which is why we felt that if it is built by actual villagers, it will have that feel of old world of 100 years back.
And you're helping the local village.
Exactly.
It's wonderful.
One of the most amusing aspects of the casting
Was teaching them how to play cricket well.
was the casting of the cricketers.
Once they got British people.
Actors who could also play cricket, as opposed to cricketers
Well-
who could also act.
Oh, okay.
And so, our British casting director Daniel Roth, she came up with a surprisingly large group of actors who also play cricket.
Well, in the UK, that would be way easier than anywhere else, like the US.
Was to ask them to play a match.
And the other one brief for all British actors was that, remember, you are going to be coming and staying in a small town called Bhuj. It's going to be really hot over there. You're going to be shooting out in the sun, almost in the desert. You're not going to be used to the food. You're not going to be used to the water. You might fall sick. So, I mean, this was told to them because we didn't want somebody coming to India and saying, oh God, I can't handle this.
With a month to go for the shoot, all the heads of department have come to Bhuj for a dry run, in which they can go to each location and run through their checklists. The effort pays rich dividends. The cameraman Anil Mehta is alarmed at the extent to which the sandy soil reflects light. To cut the glare, the entire surface of the village must now be coated with a mixture of specially procured soil and cow dung.
Wow.
Ashutosh is concerned that the roofs of the village huts have been burnt black by the scorching rays of the sun. Fresh bundles of grass and hay must replace these.
Stuff
Bhanu
you.
Athaiya notices that the large billowing dresses of the British women cannot pass through the narrow toilet doors.
Wow.
These must now be widened. The sheer number of changes are intimidating.
Stuff you only notice if you're in that world.
And you gotta do the stuff before you shoot, because you can't do that on the day.
No.
You can't have an actor show up and suddenly it doesn't fit through the door.
Yeah.
Another important thing we wanted to do there was interact with the selected Bhuj artists and the villagers that we were going to use as the village
This is
cast.
so satisfying to
how
see
they
this.
perform, because we don't know, as a shooting with them, we'll suddenly discover that these guys can't act, they can't face a camera.
Yep.
Or they're too nervous to face a camera.
સતોષભાઈ એમ કહે છે કે આ જે આપણે ગામનો કામ કર્યો તમે લીપાઈ પછી આ જે ભૂંગા બાંધ્યા એ બહુ સારા બાંધ્યા છે ને બહુ સારો કામ કર્યો છે.
जरूरी ये है कि हम एक दूसरे को समझ लें. We are now a part of one group. ये जोश अगर हर दिन बना रहे तो मजा आ जाएगा.
All of them should raise their hands when you say it.
No pedal.
Hi, non-bar. Do you think he's actually playing?
I think so.
Ashutosh used to finalize a tune and select it. And he would actually play the tune to me on the phone. I would just be listening to it. Like, yeah, it sounds good. Or I can't hear a thing, or whatever.
Tick, 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 tick.
But we still had to record the songs. And as the date of shooting came closer and closer, the things kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And finally we were getting really desperate because we were 15 days away from shooting or 3 weeks away from shooting, and the recordings were just going to begin.
Ghanan, ghanan, ghanan.
Yeah, you need the songs before the song numbers.
Yep.
The score is done after the filming, but you need the songs for the song numbers.
Yep.
The last 2 months before the actual schedule began, I spent
Udit
in
Narayan.
Chennai trying to finish the songs.
The voice of
When
Shah
I
Rukh
think he should have
Khan.
been in Bombay working with us, which is why I couldn't get time to work with him as an actor. Ultimately, you won't believe it was 31st December and we were still recording the songs. So there was a lot of stress and tension of, that last minute, will we make it, won't we make it?
There were a lot of things happening. And they were all happening at the same time.
Filmmaking.
So thankful they filmed all of this behind the scenes prior.
Any problem in constructing the set, sound department wanted something, camera department wanted something, the hair department wanted something, the makeup department wanted something.
It's the most collaborative art form there is.
Yep.
I mean, it was a really full day in which I don't think we had time to even breathe.
And at the same time, he's got to prep
Aamir,
for his acting.
everyone's come, they're waiting for you. Come on.
Morning, Aamir.
Good morning.
Oh Christ.
क्योंकि जब हम आए थे एयरपोर्ट, बम्बई एयरपोर्ट पे सब लोग, उस वक्त मैं देख रहा था कि शूटिंग पे अधिकतर 4-5 लोग जाते हैं 8-10 दिन की शूटिंग पे, जैसे हाय हाय यार सबको मालूम था 10 दिन में वापस आना है। यहाँ मैंने देखा था हम लोग जा रहे थे 6 महीने, मोस्ट ऑफ अस लोग क्वाइट, अगर बात भी करते हाँ यार चलना है यार, कहीं ये था कि अभी वापस आना है या नहीं आना है, किधर जा रहे हैं, क्या है, कुछ पता नहीं।
The schedule was to start on the
Sorry.
6th of January 2000. And I wanted the actors to be there at least a week in advance.
At least, yeah.
So it was a mental thing, where we can start getting into that frame.
I love that they built the entire village.
Of the character.
That's amazing.
Of the period, of the script.
एज ए एक्टर जब कोई बॉम्बे में प्लेन में बैठ के यहाँ आए और यहाँ शूट करते वक्त उसको हम कहाँ सेट पे शूटिंग कर रहे ऐसे फीलिंग आए, तो वो मुझे अपने आप में एक फेल्यूर लगता है.
One of the reasons
love
why
production
we went
design.
for building a real village was so that the actors feel real. When they're sitting in a house, they should feel it's a real house. In a very subconscious level, I think it helps the actor.
It does.
Oh, it does. That's why the actors usually get into character when they get into their costumes.
When we came to the village the first time, we were like zapped, man.
Yeah,
We were like,
transported.
Everybody was like dumbfounded.
I bet.
Just seeing the whole the village.
And now an intense phase began where the actors started tanning themselves and spending time in their houses.
Oh,
They started getting used to working with the implements.
what a gift.
And secondly, they had to start getting used to a lifestyle which is very different. I mean, they had to break away from an urban lifestyle and adopt a rural one.
With shoes on.
Ismail started his work at the pottery wheel, trying to take clay, and first he made really odd shapes, but he started trying to perfect that and make it into pots. Baga, who had been practicing the dole for 6 months, was now having some kind of rhythm in his playing.
What I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna show it to Ashok, then come back and record.
Aamir, meanwhile, was seriously worried about his mustache, or rather his lack of one.
A villager in 1893 would, I doubt he would shave.
Yeah.
And especially if there is a water problem, he would definitely not shave.
Sure.
कि एक तो बारिश नहीं है, खाने के वांदे हैं यार, या साला बंदा शेव कर रहा है.
He started making these attempts of, donning different mustaches. So sometimes he would show me a thin mustache, a thick mustache, a mustache which slightly had a twirl. At different points in time. try to grab my attention as to this is the mustache that is apt, and Ash, look at it.
तो क्या कर सकते थे? था कोई चारा?
No.
और कोई चारा था? था कोई चारा?
No.
क्या कर सकते थे?
I would give it a look and say no. Then I ran some final checks on the look of each of the actors as per their characters. After they had their hair designed, their makeup, and they wore their costumes.
There he is.
I was wondering where he
then,
was.
Then I just waited.
Right at the turn of the millennium.
Here it was finally. Here we were stepping into it finally. All that we had planned for the last 1 year, we did 1 year of pre-production. All that was over now, and we were into executing the film. And a lot of decisions that we had taken in the pre-production would now either prove to be correct or wrong, and it was too late to change them. I was also very worried about how Ashu would be as a director. Clearly I had a lot of faith in him, but there was a little concern in the back of my mind that when he actually is on set, and when he says, you know, start camera or action, and he's directing actors, how will he be? Will he be able to lead from the front? Will he be able to, you know, manage to carry the whole film on his shoulders?
Quiet, please.
Is that Rahman?
Yeah.
Oh, he's there, huh?
When the camera is rolling.
I'm guessing they're shooting his song.
Ready? Quiet, please. Here we go. And roll camera. And action.
पिछले साल बारिश हुई थी, लेकिन कम। और इस साल फिर से बारिश नहीं हुई। I was feeling very strange that morning because now that everything was here, ready to be captured on film, a new anxiety phase was about to start.
Oh yeah, this is it.
And I had gone through months and months of preparation.
You can't change anything now. Once you get it in film, and you say cut, and you move on.
We worked so closely together.
This is
and
it.
On the 6th of Jan 2000, suddenly that morning, everyone parted from me and went away, and I was standing there alone in the center. And all the spotlights acted as if they were suddenly turned on me.
Yeah.
And everyone was looking up to me, and I was like,
okay.
So, मुझे क्यों देख रहे हैं यार अचानक?
Because you're literally calling the shots.
I think it's wonderful.
Do they shoot it in order? No way.
There's no way they shot this in order.
But I mean,
that would astonish me.
If it was mostly in the village,
so when we took the first Mahura shot, it was mixed feelings. One of happiness that finally the shooting has begun. At the same time, a bit of tension. How will it go? And also a very emotional moment, I think. And everyone congratulating each other and, you know, wishing each other the best for the rest of the shooting. And I was overcome, and I had to fight back, you know, tears and pretend I was all right and stuff like that. And I could see my uncle over there. My father and uncle have been producers themselves, all, you know, for so many years. And so all these thoughts were rushing in my mind, and
it's an extremely emotional moment when finally the camera comes on and takes the first shot, and it's actually all fallen into place. I mean, if there weren't so many people around, I would have just broke down and wept.
बंद किया ये दूसरा
Oh wow.
भी बंद हो गया
Keep the sound, yeah.
95% बंद हो जाता आवाज पूरा.
After 40 years, a mainstream Hindi film is attempting to shoot with sync sound, and we've got a ton of silent equipment in place for that.
any equipment which makes noise cannot be used. It has to be a blimped camera, completely silent. HMI lights or any other equipment that you
They're
use on
loud,
set
man.
has to be without
No
a
hum. Yep.
And most importantly, we needed a unit that was silent.
With that many people?
300 people silent.
Who are not accustomed to filmmaking?
We will be running sound when we do the take, so everyone practice to be quiet.
So we had to actually train them that we are doing sing sound, we are doing sing sound, we are doing sing sound. Tell everyone, put it in their head that they have to be silent.
Very quiet.
That's so funny because it's just an automatic here.
Yeah.
Seriously, guys.
Yeah, the minute
You gotta be quiet, man.
rolling,
you're off the set if you're not quiet. People do not tolerate it here because you're screwing up the shoot.
The added problem was sounds coming from outside the set. So we had an elaborate network of walkie-talkies spread over a 5-kilometer radius to ensure silence.
So whenever I called for a shot, my first AD approval aa gaya. You would speak on the walkie and make sure that not a vehicle moved.
This is
Not one
normal
standard,
every
normal.
day.
or whispered. I mean, everyone stopped.
all the sound stages have lights outside, and when they're filming inside, it's red so that you do not come walking in while they're filming.
Rolling!
All the ADs talk to each other.
Yep.
4x11, take one.
And there's walkie-talkies everywhere.
पगला है.
Now it's headsets.
हाथ भर आगे की जिंदगी की समझ है नहीं उसे. बस अनाप शनाप पकड़ाता फिर रहे.
नहीं हनी काका, वो पगला नहीं है. दुर्गा भाभी की बात भूल गए? यहाँ के 9 साल तक उनकी नोक से कोमल होती. ये गुरन भरा की लल्ला होगा. सोमू हुआ कि नहीं? और केसरिया का किस्सा ले लो.
अच्छा, वो पगला पागल नहीं है बस.
300 unit members spread over 125 acres of set are concentrating on the shot. Sync sound has turned out to be much more than a technology of recording sound. It is a highly focused approach to work.
Heck yes.
Where the password is discipline.
It's beautiful.
It makes it so much better.
Makes everybody focus.
And it just makes the sound so much better.
At Universal Studios, when they do the tour of the backlot, they'll stop the tour if they're filming out there for the sound.
The system that we were following, people are not used to. It's a very strict system. And a lot of it was because of the ADs we had. They have call sheets and they make sure that everybody is on set at this time so that they can finish this much work.
Yep. Punctuality is important.
We had to call them and say the bus is ready. And they'd come down to the bus, unwillingly kicking and screaming, and then take them to set.
That was something that went down the hardest. You think that they couldn't deal with the three of us. I think they couldn't deal with the bus more. Because it's like everybody had to wake up at 4 o'clock and get into a bus. And it was like going to school.
फिर ये था कि आमिर खान है सुपरस्टार तो उनके लिए एक मर्सिडीज होगी जिसमें बैठ के वो जाएंगे शू पीछे हम कहीं जाएंगे कार अचानक पता लगा नो देयर इज अ बस 5 बजे बस में बैठे जगह सब है शायद पता लगा आमिर खान भी उसी बस में है ये कुछ चक्कर नया है.
Before coming to Bhuj, I was hoping that since I'm the heroine of the film, so I might get some kind of inspiration. But
nope.
It was just the opposite. It was quite shocking.
All equals. I love
Every
it.
day you have to get up early in the
Hey,
morning.
that's the guy.
5 o'clock. Get into the bus.
He has such a unique look.
If you're 2 minutes late, the bus will leave you. You have to be in the
Damn straight it
all
will.
the time.
On day 2 of the shoot, I actually was 5 minutes late or something. And the bus actually left without me. I was taken quite by surprise that the producer was not waited for even 5 minutes. Then when I land up late, everybody looks at me that, I've come late. And
I love it.
Apologize to everybody for that, man,
And when you come to your
Well, get your shit together, Aamir.
get into your makeup, get into your wardrobe.
Yeah.
So it's been like quite shocking.
Did they say how far they were from the set?
Making a film
Couple
so many
an hour?
They didn't say. I think call time to the bus was 4 and arrival on set,
How do you
call
get all
time was
of them
5.
And most of them are required in all the shots. So each actor had a timing that you'll have breakfast from this time to this time, you'll get into makeup from this time to this time, you'll get into hair from this time to this time.
It meant working very quickly, very swiftly. It meant being very organized.
And that was the only way that we could have possibly made the film in terms of getting to shoot on time and starting on time, and getting how much.
It's
work
crazy
you
that
need
this
to do
wasn't
in a day.
standard
I was
fare.
just going to say the same thing. I'm really shocked this was.
Because this is just every day.
This has been standard. This is a standard work day in the industry here since the 1930s.
Yeah.
The picturizing of the song Ganan Ganan started on a disastrous note because barring Aamir, none of the other actors had danced or lip synced songs.
Damn. And y'all didn't have choreographed time, I'm guessing?
बहुत हॉरिफाइंग था। मैं पहले सोचता था क्या यार बहुत आसान, लेकिन उतना आसान नहीं है जितना देखने में लगता है।
Yeah, I bet they didn't have choreography time.
50 actors and they had to instruct all of them, and each one was doing a different mistake each time.
So we were shooting take after take after take. It was endless.
Oh my.
I decided that something had to be done. So that night after dinner, I called all the actors down to the dining hall and I asked them to sing the songs loudly.
I'll say go. Go, boy.
And he just made us sing the song over and over again.
Get it under your skin.
First, he got the song into our blood.
Exactly. Have fun with it.
As confidence levels grew, the attention was now off the lyrics
Yes.
into the dancing steps.
And that'll carry over to the day. Love it. The energy from the night before is right there. So smart.
So this exercise that Ashu did, I think, really worked wonders because then they were singing it freely and with the same excitement with which Ganan was meant to be sung.
Wow, look at those horns.
That's a massive.
Woo!
Dear Swati, this Sunday too, a whole bunch of us were busy exploring Kutch. It's remarkable how in Kutch so much of the past lives in the present. Really makes it an ideal milieu for a period film.
I bet they didn't have to get permits for anything.
On set, the Ganan song has created a joyous mood. The old are dancing with the abandon of youth, and little Kutchi children are stealing our hearts. My favorite is a little girl called Ritu.
What happened, sweetie? Aww.
डर नहीं तू तो नहीं पढ़ीस अरे अंकल ने बहुत मोटी मोटी हीरोइनों को
She's beautiful.
I had cast amateur actors from Bhuj, and all those villagers who had erected the village set, I was using them as the background action. Now, they had never faced a camera before in their life, but they were expected to do precisely that and extensively. So, to be honest, I was not very sure whether this kind of gamble will actually pay off.
Very risky.
सीने में जाके कभी और पिक्चर नहीं देखा, पहली बार ये पिक्चर बनाने पहली बार हमने
Wow.
कुछ भी नहीं देखा पिक्चर, और आमिर खान को तो हम पहचानते नहीं, हाँ पहली बार देखा आमिर खान ये है वो।
तो पहले हम इधर आया था ना, तो ऐसा पड़ा था मैदान, इसमें कोई ऐसा हमको नहीं लगा था, कोई इधर गांव बने।
What do they do with the village after? Do they just leave it?
आया बाद, ये बन गया सब।
I think the performance of the Bhuj actors and the villagers that were used as in part of the background, that was on par with the actors who were doing major roles.
Because they're not really acting. It can work better than if you would have casted actual actors, or it could be worse.
Yeah.
It's like no middle ground, really.
The British actors are on their way to India, and the unit will soon be at full strength.
Dun, 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 dun.
आपने हाथों को देखिए ना, बस अपना आसान दिमाग क्या है चलेगा ये कभी यही है, नहीं यही तो गेम है, कभी यूं एक्चुअली आपको नजर में दिखना चाहिए, नजर में मूड बना अब जोर से मारिए ना।
This is most of set life, by the way.
Here the British juggling.
East is Midwest. I am most curious to see the villainous Captain Russell.
He has like his face is like he always smells a fart. Like he's
These awful British people that trounced all over the place thinking they were civilizing people. Oh, when I was reading up about this whole thing on the Raj and everything, it was just embarrassing.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Glad to hear you say it.
Both Rachel and Paul were full of anxiety when they landed here, because ultimately they're going to have to perform in a language which they have no clue about.
Nothing. I had no preparation at all. I just turned up and there it was. Hindi just fell out my mouth.
Action!
He looks so British.
ठीक है
ठीक है
ठीक है तुम्हें लगान माफ कर देता हूँ लेकिन तुम्हें इस खेल में हमें हारना होगा आओ तुम्हें इस खेल में हमें हारना होगा
Then I went to London in December and I met with Paul and Rachel. Paul, if you know, I realized when I met him that he's probably the kind of guy who would, bumble his way through and then finally decide that, after 1 week I can't do it, and oh Christ. And
I sat in a cafe and I looked at the script and I thought, well, I'll just try and remember the first line. And after about 15 minutes of not being able to barely remember 3 syllables, I just put my head in my hand and I thought, what have I done here? I've done a terrible mistake.
Yeah. And I realized that we need to keep a tutor for them.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
He selected a girl called Sameen, who's a Pakistani.
I had a Hindi tutor when I did the Hater
task in front of them. Here are these two Britishers.
There's no other way you could
Here are
have
their
done it.
lines, and they have to know their lines by the time they come for shooting to India.
तुम बोलो तुम लगान दोगे कि शर्त मंजूर है
I had met
kinda looks
Rachel, and
like
I
Alexia a
realized
little
that
bit.
Rachel is a person who's quite a go-getter. She will, concentrate, work hard, sit with Samin and crack it.
I know my lines, and I know I've learned it in a way that I know what each word means, so that, if Ash tells me that he wants a different angle on it or a different feeling on it, I know where my stresses should be.
कहाँ देख रही हैं मेम साहब?
Yay, statue. Murad, kiski hai? But the most difficult thing I find is listening to the other actors.
ये राधे कृष्ण का मंदिर है मेम साहब.
Because so much of acting is listening. If the person you're opposite stresses a particular word, then you react to that.
अरे नहीं मेम साहब. किशन जी की शादी तो रुक्मणी से हुई थी और राधा जी की अनय से. लेकिन दोनों में बहुत ही गहरा प्रेम था.
But when it's in Hindi, it's so hard because I'd have to learn all their lines as well, which would obviously be a huge amount.
आप समझ लो कमल के फूल, sorry, जो एक मिसाल बन गया.
Ironically, Paul and Rachel weren't the only ones to struggle with the language of the film.
I really struggled with Avdi. I found that I was struggling with Avdi. You see, what happened was that I had mentally decided that 2 months before we go into the shooting stage, I would stop wearing the hat of the producer and put on the cap of the actor. And the last 2 months would be just me preparing as an actor.
Oh, damn.
In fact, I had thought that I would take my script, go off to UP, into a remote village, and spend a month or 2 months staying there with the villagers. In UP, they would speak Avdi, and the accent would get into my blood. But until the first day of shooting, I never got the chance. Because the responsibility on me as a producer kept mounting and kept getting more and more.
That's why it's tough.
And then I realized, that I'm not getting the time to prepare. So when I landed in Bhuj, I had not prepared at all as an actor. At all. I mean, zero preparation had gone in.
Excuse me.
So, Buan, tell me what you know about the game.
क्या चीज़?
मेम साहब पूछ रही है कि तुम इस खेल के बारे में क्या जानते हो?
अरे बहुत कुछ. 6 डंडियां हुए हैं, 3 ही तरफ और तीनों तरफ. 2 ही लोग हाथ में फल्ली लेकर डंडियों के आगे खड़े होते हैं. एक ससुरा दौड़ के डंडियों के पास से गोला फेंकत है और फल्ली वाला फल्ली लेकर गोले को दे घुमा है और फिर सब जने
I was so uncomfortable with the lines because I had not rehearsed them. And very often during the take, I would stumble on my lines not because I said the wrong line, but I slipped from Avdi into Hindi.
बल्ला घुमा थे, बल्ला घुमा. फल्ली. Take 8. 1 second to the line. 9, 11, 10, 6, take 13. And action. फिर घुमा थे. बस दिन भर ही चलता रहता है. गोला फेंक, फल्ली घुमा, गोला फेंक, फल्ली घुमा. बस एक ही बात समझ में नहीं आती कि बीच में एक मानुस
And the other actors were looking at me. A lot of them are from that Hindi belt, so for them the accent was something that they're born with. For me, it was something that I had to acquire. I was literally preparing one night before.
My word.
Every night I used to.
That's why it's so tough when you see people do directing, producing, writing, acting.
Trying to get the Avdi right.
Because you can't give your full attention to one thing.
Hotel Sejanan's a hit. Living together in flats rather than a hotel has created a unique spirit of intimacy and warmth.
It's like a college
I've been
dorm.
making lots of friends here. Sometimes that seems more interesting than making LAGAAN. The unit's such a kaleidoscope of life.
Never actually thought that you could make a living from it. I didn't know any actors.
मेरा नाम कप्पू है और मेरा काम का नाम खोटा है.
तो हम गाँव से आते हो ट्रैक्टर में।
मुझे लोग बंदर बंदर बोलते थे, मंकी बोलते थे, क्लासेस के लड़के।
ये मैं वही था जब बंटवारा हुआ हिंदुस्तान का। हम ट्रेड यूनियन में काम करते थे।
मेरी पढ़ाई अमेरिका में हुई है। डॉक्टर मैंने मॉन्ट्रियल कनाडा में खत्म किया, उसके बाद स्पेशल एजुकेशन न्यूयॉर्क में हुआ मेरा।
कि बेटा क्या बनेगा, डॉक्टर बनेगा। तो मुझे साइंस दिलवा दी थी, लेकिन मुझे समझ में नहीं आती थी।
I've done everything. I've been a kitchen porter at a girls' school. I've been an electrician's assistant.
मिलिट्री स्कूल थी तो वहाँ मार्च अप डाउन करके पूरी लाइफ।
2 films when I was in school. 2 so-called art films.
अजमेर से निकली तब मेरे फादर को 4 दिन हुए थे इंतकाल हुए हुए।
What is the life of an actor?
Out of work, in work, out of work.
I'll paint a house.
मुझे
Damn straight.
scholarship मिली और मैंने कनाडा में soil chemistry, microbiology और agricultural technology का course।
I have a twin and we used to dance. We've been dancing since we were 14.
बचपन से लग रहा था कि एक्टर बनूंगा।
Love this.
सर्विस छोड़ी, बिजनेस छोड़ा, ये छोड़ा, वो छोड़ा, सब एक्टिंग की तरफ दौड़ पड़े बस।
तो मेरा तमाम झुकाव और लगाव फौज की तरफ ही था, पर अब होनी को कौन टाल सकता है।
And I would warm my voice up in the morning by singing in the high falsetto.
He's a theater actor if I've ever seen one.
उस पे चढ़ जाएगा तो कोई 12 साढ़े 12 बजे के वहाँ सायरन बजता था फैक्ट्री का, तो उससे मैं सुर मिला के गाया करता था, कुछ इस तरह बजता था। तो फिर मैं वहीं से अरे ये तन को तनक भरोसा नहीं आराम, जैसे पात गिरे धरनी पे ऐसे हमरो हाल, तनक भरोसा नहीं आराम।
I love that part.
Our dream run has come to an end. Hangal Saab, who at 84 is the oldest actor in the unit, has had a fall.
बाथरूम में मेरा पाँव फिसल गया, गिर गया। उस दिन टेम्परेचर था 3 डिग्री, ठंड।
He fell on his back, which meant that he would have to be in bed for the next couple of months.
और मुझे इतना पेन होता था कि मैं डॉक्टरों को कहता था कि मुझे मार डालो, मैं बर्दाश्त नहीं कर सकता ये पेन।
I actually wanted to suggest to him that he should go back to Bombay, but he told me that tell him when I want him, when I require him, and that he would be there at the shooting. I couldn't believe it.
मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था बम्बई जाने का। अगर जाता तो फिल्म का क्या होता, कंटिन्यूटी का क्या होता?
Absolutely.
Poor guy.
Oh my goodness. What a warrior.
Take 4.
Action. 40 साल पहले इसी तरह ही बादल बस आकाश में आए और चले गए, और तब 3 साल बारिश नहीं हुई। 3 साल धरती में बस दरार दरार, गांव छोड़े के पड़ा। अगले साल अगर यही हाल रहा तो गांव छोड़ने के अलावा कोनो ही रास्ता न बची, कोनो ही रास्ता न बची।
With a broken back?
Unbelievable.
Ow.
Through all his pain and agony, he gave the shot.
Wow.
The show must go on. मैंने कहा ना मैं काम करूँगा, कैसे भी। I'll die with my boots on.
Heck yeah. Wow.
That's
Hangal
great.
Saab's injury turned out to be but one of many problems, due to which the shoot inexorably fell behind schedule.
And that'll be our part 1 reaction to Madness in the Desert.
That was madness.
It was madness. If you'd like to see the full uncut reaction, head over to Patreon. I'll put a link in the description of the pinned comment. And on to part 2.